Welcome to This Explainer. Okay, so today we're looking at something you probably literally have sitting in your fridge right now, the unassuming blueberry. People are always calling it nature's superfruit, but there is actually so much more to this simple little snack than meets the eye. We're going to uncover some really incredible botanical secrets and honestly discover some everyday magic that's just been hiding in plain sight.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the core question it asks. What if the blue in blueberries is, well, just an illusion? I mean, we literally name this fruit for its color, right? We expect that vibrant burst of blue in our muffins and our smoothies. But what if your eyes are completely deceiving you? What if the very defining characteristic of this fruit is basically a giant trick of the light? Keep that mystery in the back of your mind as we dive into where this fruit actually comes from, because the answer is absolutely fascinating.
So, the blueberry is a true homegrown hero. Botanically, it goes by this absolute mouthful, the perennial Vaccinium section Cyanoncoccus. But what you really need to know is that these deep blue-purple plants are actually one of the very few fruits native entirely to North America. Like, long before they were neatly packaged in those little plastic clam shells at your local grocery store, they were just growing wild right across the continent. They're a fundamental, ancient part of the North American ecosystem. Okay, let's dive into this plant's botanical roots, specifically the Ericaceae or the heath family tree, because, wow, it is full of unexpected surprises. Now, as you might expect, the blueberry's edible cousins include fruits you totally expect to see at the dinner table, things like cranberries and huckleberries. But get this, surprisingly, its floral relatives actually include azaleas. Yeah, those beautiful, vibrant, leafy bushes you see in ornamental landscaping and spring gardens, they're actual botanical cousins to the blueberry. It just really shows you how incredibly diverse a single plant family can be when you trace its roots back.
But, despite having such famous and widespread relatives, the blueberry plant itself is notoriously, almost stubbornly, picky about where it decides to put down its roots. It absolutely demands highly acidic, well-draining soil, specifically a pH between 4.5 and 5.5. And that's not just a preference, it is a strict requirement for them to thrive. So if you've ever tried to plant a blueberry bush in your backyard and just watched it struggle or completely fail, this super narrow, highly acidic pH requirement is probably exactly why. This plant knows exactly what environment it wants, and it simply won't settle for anything less.
Let's move to and see how this builds over the seasons. This strict environment supports a really beautiful botanical transformation. In the spring, before there is any sign of fruit at all, the plant bursts into these delicate, small, bell-shaped flowers. They're usually a stunning white or maybe a pale pink. Honestly, they look almost like tiny hanging lanterns. Then, as the spring season rolls on, those delicate floral bells just drop away and the base swells up, eventually transforming into the plump, round berries we all recognize. Okay, remember that mystery I teased you with earlier? Well, here is the truth. Blueberries do not actually contain any blue pigment on the outside. None. Zero. Actually, scratch that. It's more like if you were to chemically strip away all the external factors and just look at the raw skin itself, you literally wouldn't find a single drop of blue pigment there. No way, right? So the obvious question here is, if the plant isn't painting the berry blue, how on earth are our eyes seeing that iconic color?
To understand this little magic trick, we have to look closely at a phenomenon called epicuticular wax. Farmers and botanists often just call this the bloom. Basically, it's a very thin, totally natural layer of wax that completely coats the outside skin of the fruit. Think about it. If you've ever held a fresh, unwashed blueberry and noticed a slightly dusty, kind of cloudy or silvery coating that easily rubs off on your fingers, that right there is the epicuticular wax acting as the plant's natural protective barrier. And this brilliantly illustrates the secret to the entire illusion. As the quote says, this wax scatters light in a way that reflects blue and ultraviolet light. It is not a pigment, guys. It is pure physics. The microscopic physical structure of that epicuticular wax intercepts the ambient light hitting the berry, interacts with it, and bounces only the blue and ultraviolet wavelengths directly back to the viewer. You aren't seeing a blue skin at all. You are seeing the reflection of scattered blue light created by a clear, waxy armor. I mean, it is literally a masterclass in optical illusion happening right there inside your fruit bowl. Now, while the outside of the berry is this brilliant optical illusion governed by physics, the inside is where the real physical pigment actually lives. Enter anthocyanins. These are incredibly powerful antioxidants. And these anthocyanins are what's actually responsible for the blueberry's internal color, which, if you've ever crushed one, you know is actually a deep, dark purple, almost a reddish color. So, nature gives us this brilliant, light-scattering blue show on the outside and a massive payload of intensely pigmented, health-boosting antioxidants on the inside. So why does that internal payload matter so much to you and your daily diet? Well, when you're snacking on these little blue optical illusions, you're actually doing your body a tremendous favor. Beyond just the antioxidants, they are packed with vitamin C, which is absolutely crucial for your immune system. They're high in vitamin K, they're rich in dietary fiber, which keeps your digestion right on track. Plus, they boast a wonderfully high water content while being naturally low in calories. It is the absolute perfect definition of a superfruit. You get all of this structured, incredible nutrition delivered in one tiny, efficient, and super delicious bite. So it leaves us with a fun question. Next time you eat a blueberry, will you taste the vitamins? Or will you see the illusion? Now that you know the true, hidden story behind this North American native, you know about its demanding, highly acidic soil, its beautiful floral cousin, the azalea, and you understand that brilliant, light-scattering, waxy disguise that totally tricks your eyes, you kind of can't just eat it mindlessly anymore, can you? You're holding a literal marvel of botany and physics right in the palm of your hand. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. Keep learning, keep observing the everyday magic around you, and I will catch you in the next one.